Hi, everyone. Great to be here today in my hometown, finally getting to speak here it's my second conference this week. I was in China a few days ago, and I was allocated 90 minutes for that, and I spoke for 2 hours. So I know you've got those little flyers going around. I'll try and do my best. But don't worry, I've cut it down to be as fast as possible. I'm going to talk to you today about a segment of the industry that's been growing a lot over the last few years. This is the lifestyle hotel segment. Lifestyle hotels have become an increasingly popular choice for many people of many age groups. They do this by combining the personal touches and excellent service you'd find in a boutique hotel, but with all the advantages that you'd find in a mainstream convenience and the reliability you get in a big hotel chain. So what's on the screen now is really just a small indication of some of the lifestyle brands that are around in today's industry. There are many more, dozens more actually. Some of the brands you see like Andaz have been specifically created to enter the lifestyle segment. Some other brands like Kimpton are actually existing boutique brands, and they've been taken over by companies such as IHG, and now they've been, commercialized into more mainstream, and now they'll be lifestyle hotels but with a boutique background. All of these new brands are competing in the same markets for the same guest, and when the fundamental of each brand is to be unique and special, it's critical that each hotel, doesn't fall between like a cookie-cutter formula. Their philosophy is to be different and unique. So this is the main topic of my talk today. How do you make your lifestyle hotel different or more noticeable than the next one? It's just not good enough to be beautiful anymore. How do you create hotels that are unique, memorable? How do you make them special? How do you make guests want to come back? Hotels that have a character and a soul. At P49, for lifestyle hotels, more importantly, our approach is to create a master narrative or a storyline that runs through all aspects of the hotel from area to area. It's like a theme, in essence, that runs through. The storyline is a result of research that we do into the context, into the history, into the geography, the culture, everything that we can get our hands on. After that research has been collated, what we do is we sit down and we think, what are the best parts of that research that we can extract that allow us to create something that will give us the most unique solution. And I'm really talking about lifestyle hotels here. So today I'm going to talk about three of our hotels and explain the key drivers or the factors that help guide us towards the end result. Why did we do what we did? What was the reasons? The slides are very stretched because of the screen, so bear with me, but I think you'll get the picture. So the first project is a multi-story building located in the city of Hangzhou. This is Hangzhou Northeast. It's a very modern part of Hangzhou. Pretty well everything's brand new over there. For those of you that know China, Hangzhou is probably one of the three most, rated the three most beautiful cities in China. It's got the amazing West Lake, so it's very famous for that and its incredible natural beauty. And that would seem like an obvious choice for us to do our narrative. But rather than do that, because pretty well most of the other hotels follow that philosophy, we decided to choose something that would differentiate us, something that would give us a real backbone to our hotel. So from our research, we decided to select an aspect of the narrative, and we found out that the local area has a special opera, which actually dates back, believe it or not, to 221 BC. And so we thought that was something pretty unusual. We decided to take that and kind of twist it. So our narrative was called A Night at the Opera. And we took the base idea And given Renaissance is a very contemporary brand, we twisted it and we turned it into a series of strategies where as you flow through the hotel, it picks on different aspects of this journey, as if you're in the opera, but really think of it as a back idea only. So I'll just quickly run through the narrative. Can't really spend too much time. And so this is a journey, and we set this up as a journey through the hotel. So when we get to the porte cochere, it's really about you coming in from the action of the city. It's about the posters, the lights, all the excitement starting to begin. You come to the main hotel lobby. That was really going to be set up in the similar to a theater foyer, but again, nothing's literal here. It's just a backbone inspiration. The bar, which is right next to the reception or the lobby, it's called the R bar. That was really where you have your pre-theater drinks, and that's where your excitement starts to build up, the energy starts to build up. For the meeting rooms, the ballrooms, a ballroom especially, we set that up as the main grand hall, the opera hall. All-day dining, had a bit of fun with that. We decided to set that up as if the whole restaurant was set up in the backstage of the theater, so very industrial. The Chinese restaurant, obviously it's a hotel in China. It's got a massive Chinese restaurant, double story. And for that was the actual performance of the opera. So this, the famous opera that originated in this area was called The Butterfly Lovers. So we set that up as the performance. There's a specialty on the rooftop. We wrote a little subplot to the main opera, and this was the grand finale of the opera, but we set it up as if it was on the waterfront. So again, everything's playful, having fun with it. Nothing's too serious. For the corridors on your way to the guest room, we set that up as if it was the performer after they finish their show, or even before they start the show, going to their changing room, and this is their backstage walk to get to their guest room, to the guest room, which is actually, we set that up as a performer's retreat. So this is where they do their makeup, where they get ready. After the show, they unpack their bags. Everything's based on that kind of philosophy. So that's the theory. This is the reality. So this is all done. Porte cochere, you can see we started our work really from the outside and worked in. So, you know, the picture on the right, that's actually all done with little paint pixels. So it's actually thousands of pixels of paint, but really it's symbolic of the big posters you do and the lights when you come into entering towards the theater. Come through the entry, you've got the main lobby here, the receptions to the right. That's all LED walls, and we've worked with the owner's team to set that up so that it had projections, symbolic of the opera itself, slow motion, again, not real opera, but just theatrical versions of it. The lights inspired by movement of the dance, but essentially it's a pretty contemporary interior. But even the lighting, the philosophies, everything's got that theater aspect to it. Looking towards reception, that's the LED walls behind there. They're fully slow motion capture. This is the R bar on the left of the reception. So, it's still got a little industrial vibe. The ceilings, it's not taking everything too seriously. It's all open ceilings, perforated metal. The images and the perforations are really all inspired by actual headgear you'd find on the opera performers. Yeah, just going around the corner in the same area. This is the all-day dining. So if you remember, that was set up as a backstage concept. So all it means is, we're showing lights hanging from the ceiling, just clapperboards, things like that. All the screens that you can see. Sorry, let me go back. All the screens that you can see there, they're all done by scaffolding, but high quality finish. The proportions change to be a bit more refined, but really it's as simple as that. Walls were all done with sort of some walls in bricks, all old pictures and paintings put on there as if they were, laid over many, many years. Chinese restaurant, this is the lower level, which is the a la carte and semi-private rooms. And then upstairs in the PDRs, there's about 10 private rooms in the top there. So it's a really large Chinese restaurant. Little bit of a Shanghai Tang kind of color scheme going on. And then on the top floor, we've got the Japanese restaurant, which we set on the waterfront. So the entry is right in front of you. You walk past these slow-moving fans, and then you walk through the shipping containers. So we really taper your view coming in, and then we expand it. We left all the structure exposed, so you get this very industrial kind of dark, mysterious interior. Swimming pool. All the hotels there have indoor pools, so we're not taking that too seriously as well. Simple perforated ceiling with our narrative in there. Guest rooms. Yeah, so you can see there's a story, but actually it doesn't overtake. The King and the Twin had different rooms. We just decided to do that. So if you have a connecting room, you get a different experience between the two room types. So we changed the bathrooms for the King and the Twin. Okay, that's first one. We'll then talk about the Seoul Hotel in Melbourne. This is one of Accor's hotels. Seoul's a created lifestyle brand of Accor. So it's a multi-story hotel, as you can see. It's actually on the fringe of the city of Melbourne, and it faces onto a beautiful park across the road. Melbourne is an amazing city. If you haven't been there, it's got a lot of history and became prosperous in the 1850s because of the gold rush. It's always rated as one of the world's most livable cities because it's very diverse. It's got amazing food, its culture, its love of sports, and it's got a great outdoor life. So because Melbourne's so diverse, we chose to focus our narrative on Melbourne's diversity, and we called it Discovering Melbourne's Gems. So this is actually not the actual narrative, but after we did the narrative, we set it up as a flow process through the various areas in the hotel. So in this hotel, because it's part of the city, there's actually no porte cochere. You get dropped off on the main street, essentially, on a lay-by. So we've done that. So the whole reception area, the whole ground floor, will be set up as the street. So the street never stops. You check in on the street. Melbourne's got an amazing coffee culture. So actually, to enter the reception, you walk through a coffee shop. But the coffee shop's not like a fancy coffee shop. It's very grungy, typical Melbourne back street. And that's how you walk into a 5-star hotel. You turn around the corner, you get in the lift lobbies. It's basically going to be done like graffiti, but graffiti in a sophisticated way. So we're going to do it all in mosaics. So you can take a base idea, but you can make it sophisticated. For the ballroom, Melbourne's got also the fashion capital of Australia. So we set that up as a warehouse, and you have a fashion show in the warehouse. Adjacent to the ballroom is also the all-day dining, so we're linking that warehouse concept into the all-day dining, but using a lot more raw bricks and raw walls, and the fashion show was sort of in that same warehouse. There's a podium, I think level 11, yeah, level 11 is the podium, and we've got a bar, a swimming pool, and a huge party deck out there. So because it faces the park, we're going to bring the entire park to the podium. So it's basically party in the park. For the club lounge, we're going to focus back on Melbourne's heritage and turn that into its colonial side. But again, playful colonial. Guest rooms, we did 2 types of guest rooms predominantly, actually 3 types in principle. Guest room, one type was based on Melbourne's gold rush heritage discovery. And so that had a little bit more traditional detailing, a little bit more vintage fittings and things like that. But still, contemporary, still fun. Bathrooms like this. And then we did another room type based on inner city Melbourne as it is today. Very back street, very urban, kind of very street smart. So that's our room for the standard room. Walls are done out of basically look like concrete, and bathrooms. In fact, the back wall, you can't see it. Those are just like, tiles you'd find in a public toilet in the bathroom, but the back wall is all mosaics done in graffiti. Graffiti done in mosaics, sorry. For the suites, Melbourne has 4 seasons in a day. So our suites were inspired by Melbourne in winter, and the sunlight's basically coming through the clouds. So nothing's really too complex in the ideas. It just has a backstory, but then you just filter that into a sophisticated way. For the ballroom and the pre-function, we talked about setting up the fashion show in a warehouse as the idea. So, we've taken the whole idea of a warehouse, and this is what it's going to be. This is pre-function, no ceilings, metal. We set up a whole shed in the middle of a hotel, and that's what it's going to be. But it's going to be still kind of pops of color, exciting, very good carpets, and then links back to colonial style of Melbourne and the doors as well. Ballroom, those are actually brick walls with paintings on the walls, but the curtains you can adjust. Lighting, there's going to be lighting tricks, obviously, everywhere, but that's the ballroom ceiling. Totally flexible. You can do anything you want with it. Easy to set up. No more white ceilings that are singular direction. This is the bar on the podium, basically Melbourne sky, and then that flows out, the gardens coming in. And on the other side of that, we've got the swimming pool, and that's got a little bit of gold rush coming through it, but a little bit more sophisticated on the other side. Last one, I'd bring it back to Bangkok, show you something. This is going to come out in about 3 months. So you're getting a little sneak preview. This is the Kimpton Hotel. It's right opposite my office, part of a large development done by Sindhorn. The development comprises 2 5-star hotels, Kempinski and Kimpton. P49 is lucky enough to be doing both of those. And then we've got serviced apartments, condominiums, retail. All that is part of the main development. The master planning strategy for the development by the architect was to create a link to Lumpini Park on the right-hand side. For those of you that are not from Bangkok, Lumpini Park is basically Bangkok's Central Park, like New York. So the whole philosophy for the interior of the master planning was that wherever you are on the master plan, you're basically in a park in the middle of the city. So that was one of the things we had to deal with at the start. The second thing, Kimpton, as I talked about before, is a brand that originally started in the US. It's now part of IHG as part of their portfolio, and they also have other lifestyle brands like Voco, Indigo, and even hotels. As a brand, Kimpton, it's got its roots grounded in urban America. So it's the core value of the brand, and it's edgy, inspired, creative, and it really aspires to the millennial guest of today. So our approach for this project was really to take all of these elements and fuse them together into a luxury lifestyle hotel. So I'm not going to focus on the narrative too strongly for this one. I'm just going to go straight into it. I've got about a few minutes left. So this is actually, you walk through the front door. You're surrounded by parklands in the middle of the site. So there's great landscape all the way around. And so we've taken the whole landscape concept, but we've turned it on its head, so to speak. So we're using, Thailand's famous for great textiles. So we're using a lot of textiles in our interior, in the artworks. We're taking plants, turning them to artworks, turning them upside down. So it's really just not being traditional with it. So then you first walk to the entry. This is actually what you'd see. We're using burnt timbers that represent things from trees, but actually, again, it's just not taking a tree and putting it on a wall. It's what do you do with it that makes it stylish, that makes it memorable. Plants are in the ceiling, done in crystal. It's got an urban edge to it, but at the same time, it's got this layered approach to textile, layered approach to foliage as well. Going around the corner, you've got the lobby bar. And then as you keep going around the corner, there's a secret bar that reveals itself at the nighttime only. So there's little tricks. You'll have to wait till it opens to find out. But that's the little hidden bar around the corner. Much more sophisticated than the main part, but it's got a different target. All-day dining, that's on level 6, I think, 6 or 7. And because of the connection to the park, even though you're up in the sky, we wanted to bring the park to you. So there's about 11 different kitchens in this, all broken up into different segments, but you always the feeling like you're in a small restaurant in the middle of a park. Meeting rooms and ballroom. Bangkok, again, they love fashion here. They love, there's always, every time you go to an event, there's a fashion show. So the whole meeting rooms, everything's set up as a photography studio. Yeah, so that inspired us for our ceiling designs, how we do lighting, how we do props. Pretty simple. Yeah, so meeting rooms, it doesn't have to be normal. Just a few little things help you remember it a little bit more, hopefully. But the spa, we kept that back to nature, soft, sensuous, the other side. Downstairs, at the lobby, that was really more aggressive, urban America coming through into a park setting. And that's a typical room. There's many different room types, but the principles are similar to this. So, in summary, what drives character within hotels? For us at P49, primarily with regards to lifestyle hotels, having a strong storyline on a narrative is an important design tool that helps lead us towards more unique solutions with strong character. Ultimately, our only intention is to create hotels that are memorable and have a soul. Thank you very much.